Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Control freaks in DC have used their red flag law more than 50 times since it was passed to deprive citizens of their property without due process, and the rate has been increasing at an alarming pace. They have already red flagged at least 19 people just so far this year. But that's not good enough for the Attorney General's office, so they're launching a propaganda campaign to push for more people to rat out their neighbors. Councilmember Charles Allen hopes they will be able to seize more guns if more people know about the law. He said, "If we believe, as I do, that gun violence is at a crisis point, there should be no tool left in the toolbox. Every tool should be pulled out." Because of course he can predict the future, and he is willing to use any unconstitutional means he pleases against people who have not been convicted of a crime. People who, if they really are dangerous, ought to be confined, in my opinion. Because let's be honest, if someone really is a threat to themselves or others, is it smart to send armed agents of the state to steal, some of their stuff and then leave, just hoping he didn't hide any of his guns or have access to pool chemicals? No. If someone is really a threat, they should be arrested and have their day in court. They should still get due process, and they should be prevented access to any weapons at all while they're undergoing that process. But it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So before I tell you just how far the DC City Council is willing to go to seize more guns, let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by TNVC.com, your source for good old-fashioned all-American night vision just like Mom used to make.
Do you like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff? I know I do. If so, then check out TNVC.com for all your seeing stuff needs, because we'll be seeing you tonight.
And by Springfield Armory's new Echelon with universal optic mounting plate and modular central operating group. You can get all the gory details on our new review channel once you're finished here. Link in the doobly-doo. And by Gunstock, a 2-day festival of peace and guns in Waxahachie, Texas. Come hang out with me September 23rd and 24th, make some pews, eat some food, and enjoy some music.
So I have spoken with the DC National Guard. We're simply asking our federal partners for help and presence in our community, because we know that officers who have a handgun can't combat 3 people with AR-15s and AK-47s shooting down the street.
Yeah. So this council member wants to declare martial law in DC, and he seems to imply he would seize ARs and AKs. What do I even say? This guy sailed right past the Second Amendment rights and Fourth Amendment rights. Just F the whole Constitution, huh? By the way, Posse Comitatus has entered the chat. I mean, this guy fell out of the stupid tree and hit every single branch all the way down. And if you'd like to help explain to him all the numerous ways his plan is both illegal and dangerous, you ought to call him at 202-724-8045. Don't be rude, though.
Don't be rude.
Don't be mean to that poor staffer, though. It's not their fault. He's an idiot. You know, one of the things I find most disheartening is how quickly people abandon their principles when it's convenient. A couple of Shannon Watts' wino mommy minions were escorted out of a Tennessee House subcommittee chamber for holding signs because the legislature passed a rule banning signs from their chambers. To be clear, these women were not shouting or otherwise disrupting the proceedings. They were just holding their stupid little signs. Now, obviously, I disagree with this unhinged old cow here. Her attempt to disarm the poor and minorities is rooted in her racism and fear. But she has a right to redress of government for grievances, and banning signs in the legislative houses is a clear violation of that right. And if I didn't stand up for her, if I cheered along with many other pro-gun folks for her arrest, my principles would mean nothing. What do you think? Are your beliefs based on core principles and values? Or are they just temporarily convenient for your own purposes? Ohio, like many states, has a preemption law which prohibits cities and counties from creating an incomprehensible patchwork of conflicting gun laws. Columbus sued the state so they could impose their own draconian rules, but the state's 10th District Court just upheld the preemption law. The mayor of Savannah, Georgia, plans to flout Georgia's preemption law by passing a city ordinance punishing theft victims. The law would make it illegal to leave guns unsecured in a car and would punish people if they wait too long to report a theft. Now, I'm here to tell you that you should never leave a gun or other valuables in a vehicle unattended if you have any other choice. If you absolutely must leave it behind, though, you should lock it in a sturdy container, which itself ought to be secured to the vehicle and, of course, hidden. Now, obviously, you would be less likely to find yourself in such a situation if the mayor didn't ban guns from his office and other city buildings. If you would like to ask the mayor about this conflict, you can call him at 912-651-6444. Tell him his plan is illegal under Georgia law, and if he really wants to reduce vehicle thefts, maybe he should eliminate defenseless victim zones so people don't feel the need to leave their gun behind. Missouri also has a preemption law, but that's not stopping St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones from attempting to ban sport utility rifles and spooky boys and prohibit the sale of guns to minors. For those playing along with the home game, it's already illegal to sell guns to minors. Mayor Jones is clearly aware that what she is attempting is illegal.
And despite the state's strict preemption laws, we're getting creative to make a difference where we can.
Just so there can be no confusion, the state attorney general, Andrew Bailey, sent Jones a strongly worded letter promising to fight whatever legislation she manages to pass. Now, if you're thinking Tashara Jones sounds familiar, it's probably because she is the same anti-gun mayor we reported on recently who got caught admitting gun control just doesn't work. She knows what she's doing is illegal. She knows it won't work. So why is she still pushing for it? I have no idea, but you should call her at 314-622-3201 and ask her yourself. And now for your moment of Zen.
Hey, is that legal?
Those level 4 plates?
Yeah, we need to go.
Hey friends, do you like pews and other pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew-paganda at the low, low price of $3.50? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.